There are moments in history when great empires are built by kings, and there are moments when the fate of the world is changed by a single orphan, long before he became one of history's greatest conquerors, before millions trembled at the sound of his name, before an empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the borders of Europe. He was simply a boy named Temujin ***, a child born into a world where survival was never guaranteed, a world without cities, without castles, without permanent homes, only endless grasslands stretching beyond the horizon, where tribes fought constantly for land, horses, food, and honor. This was the Mongolian steppe, a place where winter could kill as easily as an enemy's sword, and where every child learned to ride a horse before they could fully walk. Life here was unforgiving. Families lived in portable felt tents known as ***jurs, moving with their herds across the vast plains in search of fresh pasture. Wealth was measured not in gold, but in horses, sheep, cattle, and loyal warriors. The tribes of the steppe were fierce, proud, and deeply independent, yet they were rarely united. Old rivalries, blood feuds, and endless raids kept them divided for generations. One tribe might become an ally today, only to become an enemy tomorrow. Trust was fragile. Power belonged to whoever could seize it. Into this violent world, around ***1162 ***, a boy was born near the banks of the Anan River. His father, Yesügei, was a respected chieftain of the Börte clan. According to Mongol tradition, the newborn entered the world clutching a small blood clot in his hand. Many believed it was a sign, a child destined to become a great warrior. His father gave him the name Temujin ***. Legend says the name came from a defeated Tatar warrior whom Yesügei had captured shortly before his son's birth. Whether history or legend, the name would one day become famous across the world. As Temujin grew, his childhood looked very different from that of princes in Europe or emperors in China. There were no palaces, no royal tutors, no luxurious courts. Instead, he learned to ride horses across open grasslands, to hunt with bow and arrow, to endure freezing winters, and to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. These lessons would shape him far more than any formal education ever could. Even as a young boy, Temujin witnessed the harsh reality of life on the steppe. Strength earned respect. Weakness invited disaster. Among the Mongol tribes, leadership was never guaranteed. It had to be earned and constantly defended. No one could have imagined that this young boy, growing up beneath the endless blue sky of Mongolia, would one day build the largest contiguous empire in human history. But before he could become a conqueror, he would first lose everything. Temujin's future appeared secure. As the son of a respected tribal leader, he was expected to inherit influence, allies, and the protection of his father's name. Following the customs of the steppe, Yesügei arranged a marriage for his young son with a girl named Börte, the daughter of a neighboring tribe. Such marriages were not simply about family. They created political alliances that could determine the survival of entire clans. After leaving Temujin with Börte's family for a time as tradition required, Yesügei began the long journey home. He never reached it. Along the way, he encountered a group of Tatars, one of the Mongol tribes with whom he had long-standing rivalries. Hiding his true identity, he accepted their hospitality, but the Tatars eventually recognized him. They secretly poisoned his food. Yesügei managed to return to his camp, but the poison had already taken its toll. Within days, he was dead. With the death of its leader, everything changed. Temujin was only a boy. Instead of rallying around his family, many members of the Börte clan abandoned them. On the Mongolian steppe, loyalty often belonged to strength, not blood. Without Yesügei, his widow Holan and her children were seen as a burden rather than an asset. The clan rode away, leaving them behind with almost nothing. No large herds, no powerful warriors, no protection. The family that had once belonged to a respected chieftain suddenly found itself alone on the endless grasslands. The years that followed became a daily struggle for survival. Food was scarce. Holan worked tirelessly to keep her children alive. They gathered wild berries, dug up edible roots, caught fish from nearby rivers, and hunted small animals whenever they could. Some days they ate, other days they went hungry. The harsh winters brought freezing winds across the open steppe, while the summers tested them with relentless heat. Temujin grew up learning that survival depended not on comfort, but on determination. These hardships shaped his character. He learned to endure hunger without complaint, to remain alert in constant danger, to trust actions more than promises. The betrayal of his own tribe left a wound that would never fully heal. Years later, when he rose to power, he would remember exactly who had abandoned his family in their darkest hour, and it would influence the way he ruled forever. But even greater trials still awaited him. The boy who had already lost his father, his home, and his tribe was about to face another test that would reveal the kind of leader he would one day become. Yet survival alone did not guarantee peace. As Temujin entered adolescence, hardship began to test not only his endurance, but his character. Living alongside his family was his older half-brother, Begter. According to Mongol custom, the eldest male could claim authority over the household after the father's death. As food became increasingly scarce, tensions between the brothers grew. Begter began asserting his dominance. He claimed the best hunting spoils. He expected the younger members of the family to obey him. To Temujin, it felt like another betrayal. Their family had already been abandoned by their tribe. Now conflict threatened to divide them from within. One day, unable to tolerate the growing tension any longer, Temujin made a decision that would haunt his early life. Together with his younger brother, Kasar, he confronted Begter on the open steppe. The argument quickly turned deadly. Temujin drew his bow. An arrow flew. Begter fell. The young boy who had struggled only to survive had now taken his first human life. It was a turning point to some. It was a ruthless act driven by ambition. To others, it was the desperate decision of a boy fighting to protect his family's future. Whatever the motive, one thing had become clear. Temujin was no longer simply trying to survive. He was beginning to shape his own destiny. But word of the killing spread across the steppe. Soon afterward, members of the powerful Teachid** tribe, relatives who had once abandoned his family, captured the young Temujin. Rather than executing him immediately, they chose to make an example of him. A heavy wooden kang was locked around his neck, making escape almost impossible. He was displayed before the tribe as a prisoner. Many believed the troublesome orphan story had finally come to an end. They were wrong. One night, as his captors became less vigilant, Temujin seized a rare opportunity. Under the cover of darkness, he escaped. According to traditional accounts, a sympathetic member of the Teachid secretly hid him from the pursuing warriors, risking his own life to help the young fugitive. By morning, Temujin had vanished into the endless grasslands, the orphan who had lost his father, the boy abandoned by his own people. The prisoner everyone believed defeated had escaped once again. And every hardship was preparing him for something far greater than anyone could yet imagine. Freedom gave Temujin another chance to rebuild the life that had been taken from him. Years earlier, before his father's death, Yesügei had arranged Temujin's marriage to a young woman named Börte**. Now, after surviving betrayal, starvation, and captivity, Temujin returned to fulfill that promise. The marriage was far more than a personal union. Among the Mongol tribes, it created powerful alliances between families and strengthened a leader's position. For the first time in many years, Temujin had something he had almost forgotten: hope. But peace on the steppe rarely lasted. Not long after their marriage, disaster struck once again. A band of **Merkit* warriors launched a surprise raid on Temujin's camp. The Merkits had never forgotten an old grievance involving Temujin's father, and they now sought revenge against his family. During the attack, Börte was captured and carried away into the darkness. For Temujin, the loss was devastating. He had regained his family, only to lose it again. This time, however, he refused to face the crisis alone. He knew that defeating the Merkits required allies. Temujin turned to Tagral**, the powerful ruler of the Karaite tribe and a longtime ally of his late father, Togrul, agreed to help. Temujin also sought the support of his childhood friend, Jamukha ***. The two men had once sworn the traditional Mongol oath of brotherhood, becoming *** and ***, brothers by choice rather than blood. Jamukha accepted the call. For the first time, Temujin found himself leading warriors instead of merely surviving among them. Together, the three leaders launched a swift campaign against the Merkit. The attack came before the Merkits expected it. Their camps were overrun, their warriors scattered, and after the fighting ended, Börte was rescued. The victory was more important than reclaiming his wife. It transformed Temujin's reputation across the Mongolian steppe. People began to notice the young warrior who had survived every hardship thrown against him. More importantly, they noticed that experienced leaders were willing to fight beside him. Slowly, men from different clans began joining his camp. Some admired his courage. Others respected his determination. Many simply believed his future was growing brighter. Temujin was no longer just an abandoned orphan struggling to survive. He was becoming a leader whose name would soon echo across every corner of the Mongolian steppe. And before long, the tribes that had spent generations fighting one another would face a man determined to unite them under a single banner. Although the rescue of Börte brought victory, it also marked the beginning of a rivalry that would change the history of Asia. For a time, Temujin and Jamukha *** fought side by side. The two men had grown up together. They had shared hardships. They had sworn loyalty as *** and ***, a sacred bond of brotherhood among the Mongols. Many believed their friendship would last a lifetime. But beneath the surface, their visions for the future could not have been more different. Jamukha believed the old traditions should remain unchanged. Power in his eyes belonged to noble families who had ruled the steppe for generations. Temujin saw the world differently. He believed a man's worth should be measured not by his birth, but by his loyalty, his courage, and his ability. It was a revolutionary idea in a society where noble blood often mattered more than talent. Because of this, ordinary herdsmen, hunters, and young warriors increasingly chose to follow Temujin. He rewarded skill instead of family name. He promoted those who proved themselves in battle. To many common people, he offered something they had never been given before, a chance to rise. As Temujin's following grew larger, so did Jamukha's concern. The friendship that had once united them slowly began to fade. Trust turned into suspicion. Respect became rivalry. Across the Mongolian steppe, tribal leaders watched carefully. Some pledged their loyalty to Jamukha. Others rode to Temujin's camp, believing a new kind of leader was emerging. The balance of power was beginning to shift. The orphan who had once searched for food among the rivers and forests now commanded loyal warriors of his own. He had survived betrayal, hunger, captivity, and loss. Every hardship had forged him into someone stronger, someone more determined. Soon, the scattered tribes of Mongolia would no longer see him as merely Temujin. They would begin to see him as the man capable of doing what no leader before him had ever achieved, uniting the Mongols. And when that day came, the world itself would never be the same.